afternoon. I'm Jackie and Sarah. I am Lexis's Director of Industry Relations for Litigation Services. I'm also the CaseMap Specialist for law schools. In the last 2 years, I have been traveling to law schools all around the country. I've been to quite a large number of them in the last 2 years, teaching faculty and students about this tool that you're about to see called CaseMap. And I'd like to start out by just giving you a little bit of background about what this tool is and where it comes from. Has anyone heard of CaseMap before? A little bit? Okay, this is a relatively new tool to Lexis. We bought the company about 3 years ago called CaseSoft that makes CaseMap and a group of other tools that go along with it. But it's not new to the litigation world. This is actually a very widely used, very popular tool with litigators. It has been used for almost the past decade by all of the top AmLaw 100 firms. The DOJ, it's an extremely popular tool with the Department of Justice. It is used in hundreds of firms of all sizes around the country. So it's, as you all know, I actually graduated from law school 10 years ago. I practiced for 8 years in New York. By the time I was at the tail end of my practice before I joined Lexis, the practice of law really turned around to a very technology-driven practice, and now it certainly is that. Lawyers use a whole host of different software tools to assist them at every stage in handling a case, from the time a complaint is filed. Timekeeping software, there's document management software, there's deposition transcript management software, and there's case analysis software, which is where CaseMap falls in. So what CaseMap provides for lawyers is sort of, CaseMap is the final resting place of all the important information in the case. So essentially what CaseMap provides an attorney is a master file to create, to keep track of all the information in a matter. So in the past, the way we did things was, everything was kind of disjointed. All our different pieces of case information lived in different places. The client would come in and notes would be taken initially on a yellow pad, and then an associate might be given that yellow legal pad and told to start writing up a fact chronology that would end up in some Word document on his computer. And then, documents would start coming into the case. You got to have a document index. Paralegal would be asked to maybe open up an Excel spreadsheet and start creating an index of the documents. And those documents would go in boxes and folders. The secretary might be the person in charge of keeping track of all the players in the case, the parties, the witnesses, their counsel, their contact information, all that stuff. You'd have to go to your secretary and get, so-and-so's phone number in the case. Then the legal research done by the associates. I used to do legal research. My fellow associates working on the same case would be doing legal research. All of the authorities that we were gathering and the analysis of those authorities would live in memos on our respective computers. So all of the pieces of information that are required to come together in the litigation lived in different places. They resided in different spaces, and really there was no one central location where everything could be kept, and where all the members of this trial team, or everyone staffed on the case, could efficiently share access to that information. You'd have to email stuff back and forth to one another, get together in a conference room, can somebody pull up that memo, can somebody send me that, email me that document? There was not an efficient way to do things collaboratively. And what CaseMap provided was the answer to that. CaseMap allows an attorney to create a file, and all it is essentially from a tech perspective is a collection of spreadsheets. But these are not ordinary spreadsheets. These are what we call relational spreadsheets, because they link to one another. And so a CaseMap file assigns a spreadsheet for each component of your case. Okay, so you're going to see that you have one for your issue outline, and one for your fact chronology, one for your list of documents, one or two actually to keep track of all the relevant legal authorities, all the cases and statutes that are relevant for your arguments. And then a person's spreadsheet, an organization's spreadsheet. Each component of the case, even a pleadings spreadsheet to keep track of all the pleadings in the case. Every component of the case has a place in the CaseMap file. And more importantly, this is really kind of the central critical feature of CaseMap, why attorneys love it so much, it's such a fantastic tool, it allows the attorney to make links, okay, because that's what litigation is all about. You've got issue number one, I've got to prove this claim in my case. There are going to be specific facts that link to that issue. There are going to be specific documents that go to proving up that issue or claim, and there are going to be specific authorities that you're going to cite in support of that point, okay? So what CaseMap allows you to do is click a button and link it. Every time you get a new document that goes to your intentional infliction of emotional distress claim, you're going to link that document to it. You're going to link a fact to it. You're going to link an authority to it. It's a fantastic tool. I will tell you from personal experience, I did not have the benefit of CaseMap when I practiced. When I first saw CaseMap, I was literally bowled over. I mean, I could not believe how I practiced without it, because it is such a fantastic tool. And every attorney who I've ever shown CaseMap, who had not seen it previously, had the same reaction. Where has this been all my life? Because they've all been doing things to simulate what CaseMap does, creating from scratch, spreadsheets and things to try to accomplish what CaseMap accomplishes. So that's the background on what CaseMap is for lawyers. It is extremely popular, and that is one of the reasons why, when we acquired CaseMap, we took a look at it and said, this is definitely something students need to be exposed to. Students, for so many reasons. Number one, they are very likely to encounter this in practice, okay? And they want, you need, and you might, all working at law schools, you might have noticed that there is a big trend in the law schools. I certainly noticed it in the last 2 years traveling around the country. There is a very big growing trend toward incorporating more practice-oriented skills into law school curriculum. I see it at every school I go to. I see classes popping up on law practice technology, where students can join take a seminar that exposes them to all these practice tools that they'll be using along the way in practice. There are skills-oriented courses like pretrial litigation, designed to teach them the practical skills you need to actually organize and prepare a case for litigation. And so law schools are recognizing this now, and that's why they're really embracing teaching CaseMap. I have actually been invited to guest lecture in many different courses around the country that are focused on exposing students to hands-on practical skills and learning about how to be a litigator, how to take a case from complaint to trial. So we decided to make CaseMap. Somebody took me off the website. I'm going to have to jump back on. And I will show you where CaseMap is available. We decided to make it free to law schools and posted the link on our Lexis homepage so that students can get access to a free 3-year copy. So all your students already have access to a free 3-year copy of CaseMap. And as faculty, you get a free non-expiring copy. So anybody with a faculty ID who logs into Lexis can download their copy, and it's theirs forever and ever. Okay, because we want students to use this. Now, I just want to show you where you download it. I'm on a faculty ID here on my Lexis homepage. You just go to Download Tools and hit Case Assessment. So that's all you have to do. You can have your copy of CaseMap right away. Okay. In addition to wanting to expose students to a practice tool that is going to benefit them when they go into their summer job and ultimately in their permanent positions as lawyers, we realized that this tool also has enormous usefulness pedagogically. It is useful in legal research and writing, we've learned, and it's now been embraced by a number of legal writing professors around the country as a teaching tool to help students, use the CaseMap tool to actually work up the assignment that they're working on, as small as it is. Use that as the tool to break down and analyze the information. So it's becoming now popular with legal research and writing faculty. It has been adopted by a number of clinics around the country because it's kind of a no-brainer for a clinic. They're getting free access to a fantastic practice tool that they're able to use to manage all their cases. So it's been already incorporated into many, many clinics around the country, Yale, NYU, UCLA. I can name 30 others around the country that have already got it. And also these classes that I mentioned, like law practice technology, litigation, pretrial litigation, trial advocacy, appellate advocacy, moot court students love it. Even law review students are using it simply because it's provides such a great way to organize the authorities that they're collecting for their note or comment that they have to write. Finally, law professors love it because they found it's a really great tool for their own writing. They're working on an article, CaseMap becomes the repository for all of their authorities that they can sort by issue. It's just a really fantastic tool for anything, anytime a lawyer has to write anything. This is a great tool in and of itself just to prepare for the writing assignment. So I'm going to show it to you with an eye toward, making you understand how this is really relevant in these different courses in law school. And hopefully you'll go back and tell your faculty that there's this tool available to them, and I can come out to your school and present it to those folks.
That's a good question. You mentioned on the licensing for students it was 3-year. We have a night program that's 4-year.
Whenever you have a 4-year student, we make sure they get their 4th year of access. Okay, so I'm going to open up. You're looking at the homepage of CaseMap. So it's a pretty simple tool. All of the cases, the case maps that I've created for different matters are right here, okay, to choose from. If I wanted to create a new case, I'd hit this button, and then you've got an example case right here. But these are all my open matters. Okay, I'm going to open up my first case map. It's actually a template I created just for clinics. You can customize, obviously, you can customize these spreadsheets to contain whatever fields you think are important. So a given clinic or legal research and writing professor might take away certain fields, rename certain fields, add certain fields to suit the particular case that they're working with. Okay, but the default settings are pretty useful. Okay. So let's take a walk through how, for example, an attorney or even a 1L student taking legal research and writing might use CaseMap. As you can see, these are the spreadsheets that you've got. Okay, there are a number of other ones available, but the ones I have in my favorites are the ones most commonly used. Persons, organizations, issues, facts, authorities, extracts from authorities, and documents. Okay? These are the main spreadsheets you're going to use. So you've just opened up a new case. Okay? We're going to make this a copyright infringement case. I like to use this as an example with students a lot when I teach students. The case is going to be Alicia Keys versus Justin Timberlake. Okay, so I'm putting her in as the first person. Okay, what type of person is she in the case? She's the plaintiff. And you have a place to describe her role. We're going to say she alleges that Timberlake infringed the copyright in her song Sure Looks Good to Me. You have a description field, so you might want to put descriptive information about who she is. She's a Grammy Award-winning recording artist, and this is the background information about Alicia Keys. Is she a key player in the case? She sure is. And you can link her to an issue in the case once you have your issue outline created. Okay? You can also link a file to her. You can also keep track, and this is important for clinics, you can keep track of all the information about that person. There's a little hourglass up here. I can put in her address, her email, her attorney, her deposition date. All that stuff that would otherwise reside in some spreadsheet on the secretary's computer is readily accessible to me here under Persons. Okay? And let me stop for a second to note, I opened up a case map that I created for one person, okay, for me. But in practice, you can create a case map with a staff. So when you create the case map, let's say you got a secretary, a paralegal, 3 associates, and 2 partners on the case, they each get a name, and they log in as themselves. And those people can simultaneously work in this file, which is fantastic, because I might be, as an associate in authorities, adding new authorities to my authorities list, while my secretary is adding new documents to the documents list, and somebody else is working on facts. You can simultaneously collaborate in this master document. So it's really fantastic. You can always see what everyone else has done on the case. All right, so that's just a point to make. Obviously, students, 1Ls, are not using it in that fashion. Okay, the firms use it that way, clinics use it that way. Okay, so I'm a 1L, and I'm trying to put together my assignment now. My second person in the case, just going to hit New Record. It's very simple to use this tool. Is Justin Timberlake. I want to get him in there. Okay, creates a short name for him. He's the defendant, so I'm just going to choose defendant. And he argues that his song "Your Booty Sure Looks Good to Me" is a parody, and therefore an exception to copyright infringement. Okay, so on and so forth, you get the idea. We're going to add one more person. We've got Britney Spears. Let's hit new record, new person. And we're going to add Britney. She's a fact witness. Okay, because Timberlake performed this allegedly infringing song at her concert. So that's what she's all about. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but you get the idea. This is where you're going to put all the people in your case. If you've got any organizations, you can put them right here. So maybe Justin's record company, Electra Records, would go right here, so on and so forth. You put in all the descriptive information. They're also a defendant, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you've got your parties, and in a typical 1L problem for legal research and writing, you're only going to have a couple of people in the case. In a very small fact pattern, maybe they get a complaint and answer and a couple of emails or deposition transcript excerpts to work from. But the writing faculty wants the students to have to, they want to see that the students were able to identify what the key facts were, what the legally significant facts were. So the fact spreadsheet provides a place for the students to actually put those facts in there and analyze them and show that they understood the relevance of those facts. But before we go to facts, let's go to the issue outline, because this is really important in CaseMap. Okay, and this is, again, why it's loved by moot court students and advanced legal writing and 1Ls for legal research and writing. Here's what you're going to do. Same thing an attorney would do in a situation. You're going to outline your case. Your first claim is copyright infringement. You're going to describe it legally. What is the nature of this issue? You can even put the burden of proof, clear and convincing. And then you're going to outline the issue, because you've got to prove this claim, and it has certain elements. Okay? Law says you've got to prove two things: valid copyright and unauthorized copying. So I'm just going to hit new record, new issue, and CaseMap makes it really easy to outline. You have arrows in the margin. You're just going to hit the right arrow to move it in. These arrows allow you to move up, down, left, right. And my first element of the claim is valid copyright. So I want to put here, Keys, Alicia Keys must prove she had a valid copyright at the time of the infringement. That's a material element of her claim, okay? She's got to prove it beyond clear and convincing, let's say. Secondly, we're going to hit new record again. She's got to prove unauthorized copying. That's her burden, to prove he copied without authorization. So we're going to write that here in the description. Well, guess what? The student's going to go do the research and find out that unauthorized copying has another two-pronged test that they have to meet in order to prove unauthorized copying. And it is as follows. Let's hit new record, new issue, and let's use our arrows to move in one level and put the two elements that you have to prove to show unauthorized copying. You have to show substantial similarity. So it's inferred from these things. Plaintiff must prove the two songs are substantially similar. And access. So last but not least, you've got access, as Alicia's got to prove that Timberlake had access, so the opportunity to copy her song. He has to have heard it somewhere, and that's basically how copyright infringement claims are proved, because you usually don't catch the person in the act of copying. Okay. Now, we've got one more main issue that our 1Ls were given. Justin is alleging that it was a parody, so therefore it falls under the fair use defense. So I want to add that to my outline. I'm going to hit new record, but now I'm going to back it up with my left arrow to a number 1, a number 2 main issue rather. And we're going to put in the fair use defense, and we're going to describe what that defense is all about under the Copyright Act, and then we're going to put one more detail that, the first type of fair use under the statute is parody. And of course, I won't bore you with the 4-prong test that goes into proving something was a parody, but you get the idea, right? This is an outlining tool. You're outlining the claims of your case so that now you can systematically link to each one of these sub-issues the relevant facts, law, and documents. Okay, and so let's do that. We're going to jump over to our facts. Okay? Let's hit new record, and as you can see in every spreadsheet it's the same deal. This is an incredibly easy to use, intuitive spreadsheet. You want to add a new record, you hit new record. You want to delete it, you hit delete record. Okay? There's about one more button you need to know, and you can use this tool like a pro. There's a lot of other bells and whistles and fancy things, but a student can utilize this tool with very little introduction. Okay, so new record, and our first fact is that on 3305, the U.S. Copyright Office issued a registration certificate to Keys, and you see how she pops up because she's a listed party in the case? It's linking to her, okay, for the song Sure Looks Good to Me, right? You have now, actually, these columns, I added a couple of columns for clinics that are not important for legal research and writing. So in legal research and writing, I might not have potential source. But you will have the source column, because a student is going to need to know where to cite this fact to. Okay, we're trying to teach, the professor is trying to teach the student that, this is how you're going to write a legal brief. You need to keep track of your facts and your sources of your facts because they need to be cited just like cases. So this fact came from the complaint that they were given at paragraph 2, Exhibit A, okay, which attaches the copyright certificate. It's a very important fact in the case. Now, the linked issues field, this is what's really cool about CaseMap. That linked issues field, you're going to see that in every spreadsheet. You're going to link something to it, okay? You link an issue to this fact. And the way to do that is really simple. You have an issue linking button right up top. It brings up your outline. And I can't tell you how helpful this is in real practice when you have, I had cases like that had patent infringement claims, copyright infringement claims, trademark infringement claims. My outlines looked like that. And I needed to have an easy way to parse out things and link things to specific issues. Okay, this is a relatively simple outline. So all we're going to do now is choose the corresponding issue. Well, obviously this fact proves up my valid copyright claim. Okay, so that's going to help her establish that she had a valid copyright. Then you're also going to distinguish, is this a material fact or not? Okay, students need to learn about materiality. What's a material fact? Alicia Keys won a Grammy in 1997 for blah, blah, blah. Very important fact, might have been included in their stipulated facts, and they might want to mention it in the background section of their brief, but you also want them to understand it's not a material fact like this one is. This is material to a claim. So here they can say, yes, it's material. Another column here, again, very important for attorneys, is the status column, which allows the student to distinguish between disputed and undisputed facts. Very important. Justin Timberlake admits it in the answer. There's no dispute. We're going to win on this claim. Valid copyright is conceded, right? Okay, and status description would be a place to put, if he disputed it, what's his dispute? You have a key field here. If it's a key fact, you can indicate as such. You also have a field that you can indicate that this is a fact that weighs in your favor or your adversary's favor. Okay, so let's say this weighs heavily for us. And then I added a field called Professor's Notes because I was demonstrating this yesterday, and I wanted to show how you can make up a field and add whatever you like to the spreadsheet. Okay. All right, so let's add one more fact. New record, new fact, and we have that on 2204, Timberlake attended party at home of Keys, where she performed an unreleased version of her song, Sure Looks Good to Me. Okay? The source of that is going to be the deposition of Alicia Keys at whatever page in line. You're going to keep track of that source right there, and then you're going to link it to an issue. Issue linking, and I usually ask the class at this point if they can tell me what issue this goes to, and they have already acquired enough expertise in copyright law based on my cursory introduction to say, access, okay? So they're getting, this is how I teach them, you know, this is how you use this tool. They know that this point proves up our access argument, that he had access to the song. Okay, and you can link to multiple issues. So if one fact was probative of multiple issues in the case, you can check more than one box, okay? And then is it material? Certainly is. Is it disputed? We're going to say, yes, it's disputed by our opposition. Okay, let me tab over here, move over a little bit. And by the way, you can make these fields as wide as you like. You can shorten them or lengthen them or move them around very easily. And the status description is going to say, Timberlake says he was performing in London that night. Couldn't have been at the party, right? So that's a disputed fact. So does everybody get what this fact chronology is? You know, this is a great thing for lawyers in practice because when I'm a lawyer and I need to write a brief point on the one point. I need to write I'm moving for summary judgment on just the copyright infringement claim. I can easily go to my linked issues field, okay, and I can filter on copyright infringement issue and see all facts that relate only to that issue instantly and get rid of all the facts that relate to my other claims. So doing this labeling allows the attorney or the student to be able to sort by relevant criteria. I can see all material facts, I can see all the undisputed facts. You can pare down these spreadsheets in an instant, and I'll show you how to do that. But let's just go on to authorities for a second because this is a really big deal. Every legal research and writing professor will have the students hand in a research log. Create some document where they put in the names of their cases that they found and their descriptions of those cases and hopefully an explanation of why they're relevant because they want to see that the student found the right case. So this becomes your master list of cases. Your citation information, your jurisdiction, what court does this come from? You can add whatever court you like. I'm going to add Second Circuit to the list, and it'll always be in my drop-down menu. I have a year. I can put my year in here. What type of authority is it? You can distinguish. So again, if you wanted to sort by all statutes or all cases, they are separated out. And again, linked issues. Every case is going to link to one or more issues in the case. So I'm using my issue linking button, just like I did with facts, and I'm going to say this is a copyright infringement case that also talks about the fair use defense. So now I've linked the case. Okay. And then you have a description field. You can change the name of that, call it holding, rule of law. Professors like to do a lot of different things. But description is where the student would put the information. Court held defendant liable for copyright infringement based on, you know, similar melodic structure of the two songs and so on and so forth. Okay? You got a notes field if you'd like to add additional notes. I had a professor who wanted students to distinguish between binding authority and persuasive authority, so I was able to add a field for that. Okay? And then you can link a copy of the case. So if the student saved a copy of the case, they would simply just browse their desktop and grab, let's see if I can find a copy of the case, a copy of a case. Okay, let's say this one. Okay, so you can just grab anything and link it, and then it becomes available to you in your spreadsheet. So let me jump back into authority. You see that paperclip? Now anytime I want to see the Electra Records case, I can just click here and open it up.
Can you do that as a hyperlink?
Yeah, I'm going to show you.
Material?
Yeah, but I'm going to show you what's even better. That's something that I always tell students, you know, if you want to have a hard copy of the case, I always make a mistake and make the wrong file. If you want to have a hard copy of the case that you can open without going onto the internet, you want to save, you want to download it, and then attach it like so. But what you can do, and this is a great feature, we've integrated it with Lexis Research System, so now students can send straight from their research to these spreadsheets, and the link to the case is then automatic. We'll link you back out to Lexis. So
I'm sorry, is the attachment then available to the other people that can access, like, the two other partners and the associate, or is it just the person whose desktop it's on?
Okay, when you're working at a firm, everyone's connected to a server. So
Well, yeah, but assume you're not. I mean, assume you've just got it saved on your desktop. I'm asking, is Lexis holding it?
No,
or-
this
okay.
is standalone software.
Okay.
So I have, this paperclip is just pointing to a spot on my computer. If I sent you by email a copy of this case map, I'd have to send you a separate folder
email with the, okay.
with all those documents that are attached, and you'd have to save it to the same place so that it would point on your computer, okay? But at a firm,
Right.
everybody is connected to the same server, they're logging into the same case map, and they don't have to do anything, they don't have to share that way. Okay, let's look at the next spreadsheet, which is called Extracts from Authorities. Research Authorities, the one I have in front of me, that becomes your table of authorities. It's going to be automatically alphabetized, and it's going to be your master list of every case and statute that you're relying on in the case, okay? And all whatever descriptive information you want to put into that. Extracts from authorities is even cooler, because here's where you can have as many entries in this spreadsheet for that collector records case as you like, depending on how many quotes you pull. So I don't know. Yeah, I did a lot of brief writing. I used to, pull cases offline that had several different little paragraphs that I needed for different points in my argument. So I would highlight those paragraphs in different colors, and I'd put different color flags, or I'd make multiple copies of those cases. Students do the same thing. I talk to them all the time, and they tell me horror stories about index cards and highlighting all the stuff that they do to get ready to write something. And like I said, very often there are more than one piece of a particular case that's important.
Is this cut and paste?
So you can certainly cut and paste. This is text, so you can paste text into any of these boxes. But here's what's even nicer. Okay, instead of doing it manually like this and putting the quote in there and then describing the quote here and then linking the quote to an issue, you can send it straight from Lexis. Of course, you can do this all the long way. But what's the nice feature here is let's put in a case citation. I'm just going to make one up and hope I get a decent case. This is a really, really terrific feature that helps attorneys be so much more efficient, and any student writing anything is just in love with this feature. Okay? You're reading a case, you find the key important quote. This is where the court articulates the standard in the Second Circuit for copyright infringement. This is a quote they need to put in their brief at the beginning of the argument, so they want to capture that quote. They want to capture this case. Okay? So you just right-click on the highlighted language in Lexis, and you have Send to CaseMap at the bottom. See that? You're ready to go. Okay? Now, it knows you're going to sending it to a research authority, so you just hit OK. And this is the nice part. This little box pops up. You've got this language now in front of you, fresh in your mind. You're going to analyze it, and you're going to tag it by issue. So here's the quote, and then in the quote description, you're going to say, seconds, you can say as much as you like, but I would say, this is the Second Circuit test for copyright infringement. And in my notes, I might want to put, court here found no infringement, but I want to use this case anyway because it's the standard, it's the rule of law here. It's the seminal case, let's say. And then your issue linker button will let you quickly tag the case by issue. Or tag that quote, rather, okay, specifically. So that goes to copyright infringement. And now when I go back to CaseMap, this is what happened. In my extract spreadsheet, the West Virginia case has been added right there. My direct quote is right there in front of me. My description of that quote is there. And my linked issue is there. Okay? So I've captured not only the case, but the specific quote that I thought was important, and I've linked it specifically to an issue. When I click back on authorities, you'll notice that it was added to my table of authorities as well with the citation information. Okay, this is citation and jurisdiction. The rest of the information, obviously, you have to put in yourself. Yeah?
Does the link then send you back out to Lexis?
Yes. So that's another thing that this saves you. it saves you the time that you would have to do downloading the case to your desktop and then linking it, because the link is now there and will link you right back out to the case anytime you want. And this is great stuff. This is great stuff for a researcher. It's just such a time saver. I can't even begin to tell you. So now you go back to the case. You read further. And of course, you come across something where the court is talking about the fair use defense and what they define as a parody. Right? You want that quote, you just do the same thing, right-click, send to CaseMap, and now you're going to describe this quote as, fair use requires proof of yada, 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 okay? And your notes, you can put some additional thoughts about it. Issue linker, you're going to link it to fair use and parody. And now look what happens. We go back to CaseMap, and in the research extracts spreadsheet, we have a second entry for that case, because we have a brand new quote that has a different description and is linked to a different issue. But as you'll notice, in authorities, it's still only there once, because that's just the table of authorities. Is everybody clear on the difference between those two spreadsheets? Okay. So this extracts from authorities spreadsheet becomes your Bible. Because you're going to write that brief and you're going to go here and maybe just do a copy and paste that whole quote right into your brief when you need it, or paraphrase it, whatever. But it's there. It's a lot better than a stack of printouts with highlighting and flags. It's much more accessible, and you don't miss anything. The students are doing the research and they're capturing on the fly what they think is important. And then they're able to record their analysis in the spreadsheet. So when they hand this into a professor, the professor gets to see not only that they found the right cases, but the professor gets to see that they identified the correct relevant quotes. And in their descriptions, they're showing the professor, I knew what the heck the court was talking about in this quote. Because a lot of times legal writing professors will tell me that students find the right cases and they kind of circle around the right, but then they didn't use the right part of the case, or they didn't really understand what the case stood for. And they don't discover that error in analysis until they read that brief that the student ultimately turns in. And then they have to work backwards to figure out everything that went wrong. So the reason professors will use this tool in legal research and writing is they'll have the students hand this CaseMap file in, and they can analyze. Did the student find the right cases? Did they correctly identify the issues in the case? And they can analyze their analysis and say, you went off path analytically here. Got the right case, but you're off track. And then that helps them to teach the student and get them on the right track, so that when they ultimately write that paper, they're not all over the place and misguided and wasting time, because it just becomes, it becomes a wasted effort if the whole paper is based on some mistaken analysis, all right? So that's the way legal writing professors use this. They will have the students hand in this spreadsheet, or all of these spreadsheets, okay? And you can do that very simply. Let's go to facts for a second. You can just go to File, Print. You can email it, or you can print it. If I wanted to just print my fact chronology, it's that simple. There it is. I could also print the entire CaseMap where all the spreadsheets are put together in a book. I could just print out one at a time, or the whole enchilada. Okay? Let's look quickly at documents. This is a document spreadsheet. I actually, like I said, I'm showing you the one that typically the clinics use, so there are more fields in the document spreadsheet. For legal research and writing, I usually have it pared down to just say the name of the document and maybe a linked issue field. Okay? Because all they really want to do here, if anything, is link the document that they've been given in the case. If they've been given an electronic copy of the complaint, they'd put it here in the document spreadsheet, and then they'd link it. And the way you link a document is very simple. You just go to the linked file field at the end, and you do this. Grab your desktop. Let me find a decent document here to use for you. Here is, oh, I know what I wanted. I'm sorry, schoolwork. This complaint right here I'll grab. And this is what's really nice, okay? Once you have linked a document to your document spreadsheet, okay, and now, like I said, in a clinic setting, there's going to be possibly thousands of documents in this index. for legal research and writing, they might have 5. Okay? Now that I've linked the complaint, I can open it up, and I can review it on my screen. And instead of having to open up the facts and write in relevant facts as I learn them, as I read them, I can actually extract them straight from the complaint. So maybe this quote right here is an important fact in the case. I can just right-click, send fact to CaseMap, and do the same thing like I did with case law. This is a fact that happened on 2204. It is a key fact. My source is already there because it records that. The status is disputed by my opposition, and the issue is linked to access. So now, I just entered that fact into my fact spreadsheet in 2 seconds. I took it straight from the document, and it's all there. So a student can just sit there reading a document and grabbing relevant facts very simply, which, you know, frankly, it saves time. That's the way attorneys are doing things. When I was practicing, you know, at the end, toward the end, I stopped doing document review, sitting with boxes. I started getting all my documents electronically from the adversary, and I would literally go page by page on my screen to review documents and then extract relevant facts from them. So that's the way things are being done today. So it's a nice thing for students to learn. You know, this is how you mine the facts from documents. Documents are being produced, you know, exclusively in electronic form in a lot of cases now today. Not even getting the paper. So it's a nice feature to have, and like I said, if it's a clinic, this is incredibly useful because they're able to put all of their documents in here. They can bulk import. So if a clinic has, let's say, you know, 5,000 pages of PDFs or whatever kinds of documents, they can click a button in CaseMap. It will instantly list all of those documents in the spreadsheet, with the links to the files, and then they'll just have to fill out the analysis of the documents, which, as you can see from these fields, you can put in the type of document and say this is a pleading. How many pages is the document? What issue does the document relate to? Well, this goes to fair use, let's say. Okay, is it a key document? Who authored it? Maybe it was Timberlake who authored it. Who received it? Maybe it was Britney Spears. What's the description of the document? All the other important information. Who produced it? Is there a privilege on the document? You got a choice. Attorney-client privilege. Who reviewed it? This is great for clinics. Clinics can see which member of the team reviewed the document. And there are a host of other fields you can add depending on the needs of your case. So clinics really like having this tool. I'm going to close up this CaseMap for a moment and just open up one that's a little bigger to show you an example of filtering. Okay, here's a more complicated employment case. All right, and I'm going to give you an example of how powerful this tool is. I'm going to go into my facts. This is an automatic chronology, by the way. When you put a fact in with a date, you don't have to ever worry about putting it into date order. It sorts automatically into date order. And let's say I'm making my motion for summary judgment on the wrongful termination claim. Right? So there are only certain facts in here that relate to wrongful termination. I need all the facts that are relating to wrongful termination and also material and undisputed, because that's the basis of a summary judgment motion. They have to be undisputed material facts. You actually have to submit a statement of undisputed material facts for a summary judgment motion. So here's what I would do. I would go to my linked issues field, right-click on wrongful termination, so filter by selection. It filters on that issue. Now I'm looking at only those facts. Okay, well let's filter on undisputed. Right-click, filter. We're adding another layer of filtering, and now I've narrowed it down again. And now it turns out that they're all material. So in 2 clicks now, I've got the subset of facts that are important in front of me, rather than a whole mishmash of different facts. And if I want to go back to the normal view, I hit cancel search and I go back. Similarly, this is so powerful with documents, which is why clinics really love this. Let's say you've got 80 billion documents in here, and you are about to depose Philip Hawkins, and you just need to see every email that he wrote to a certain person in the case. That would take you forever. I have been in the situation of having to do such a search with boxes, okay? It's not fun. This is the easy way to do it. You're going to go to the type field and say, show me all emails. Now we've got only emails. You're going to go to the author field. Well, show me only the ones from Phil Hawkins. So now you've only got the ones written by him. But I only want to see the ones he wrote to William Lang. So I go to recipient William Lang, right-click on him, filter on him, done. I had, say 1,000 documents in here. I now have the 3 documents that are emails from Phil to Will. Okay? This is an incredibly powerful application. It's just indispensable for law practice today. And clinics really, really benefit from it enormously. Not only because of the practical benefits, this gives them a place, and clinics are always struggling with ways to manage these files, these cases. They've got Redwell folders full of documents, and they've got student memos in different places. They've got new students coming in the new semester that have to get up to speed on a pre-existing case, and they've got got to hand that student a big file folder and have them just try and figure out what the heck's going on in the case. This tool allows the student to open up a CaseMap file and instantly get up to speed on the case that they're about to join. Just like in the law firm setting, a new attorney joins the case and they use the CaseMap file to get up to speed. So the benefits are just really obvious and numerous for clinics. But also, as I tried to show you, it is very beneficial for legal research and writing instructors, which is why they've been embracing it all over the country as a tool to teach students about case analysis. Because not only does it give it gives the student a more efficient way to do the research. It gives the professor a more effective way to assess the student, because the student can simply hand in a report like so. Let's preview a report and show all of the analysis that they did on the case before they hand in that paper. All their issues described, make sure they got the right issues, their people, their places, their characters, their facts, their documents, and again, their authorities and their extracts. So all of the spreadsheets are there in this nice little report that the student can hand in, just like you would hand this to a client or a partner in practice. The professors are really loving it because they feel that it teaches the student how to break down a case analytically, which is a necessary precursor to writing effectively. This is the way lawyers get ready to write a brief, by breaking down the information in this way and parsing it out and putting it together. So they love this as a teaching tool, and like I said, clinics love it not only as a practical tool, but the purpose of taking a clinic is that you're supposed to be teaching students how to practice law. So in using this tool, they're learning the most efficient, effective way to handle a case. The benefits are enormous to both the students and the faculty. Same goes with moot court. Moot court students gravitate towards this. They see it and they tell me all the time, this is the best thing. I wish I had this when I did moot court. All of the moot court students should be trained on it. So what's happening now all over the country is different types of faculty are integrating this tool into the curriculum. Like I said, clinics, legal research and writing, a lot of advanced legal writing courses, moot court, appellate advocacy, anything that involves writing or real practice exercises. And it's, this is something firms pay for, and students are getting 3 years for free. So it's a sweet deal, and something that they can carry with them into their summer job. You've got the software on your computer. You go to work at Melanie and Myers over the summer, and you can take this with you and use it to generate work product and put it on your resume. Proficient in CaseMap. It's really, really a great benefit for students. So that's my job. My job is to go and educate faculty about this tool. That's what I've been doing. I know that a lot of you are probably IT professionals, correct? How many any professors in here? What do you teach? Sorry.
Tax, civil procedure.
You teach tax and civil procedure. Okay.
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you charge for this practice?
In practice?
Yeah, suppose you're going to a three-person firm, what's the charge for a
Okay.
three-person?
Good example, because if it was a bigger firm like a,
That's, you do it.
they'd get a
for
volume
sure, yeah,
discount.
right.
But let's say it's a solo practitioner who
Right.
wants CaseMap. I'm 99% sure this is still accurate. It would be a 3-year subscription where they would pay $700 per year for that one seat. So for 3 guys or 3 women,
Including staff?
3 times, I mean, as many seats per seat,
Per
per
seat.
license, $700 a year, which is honestly not bad. As practice tools go, it is very, I think, fairly priced, because it pays for itself. I mean, it's so, it pays for itself 10 times over, that $700 a year. And, you know, firms, like I said, all the MLaw 100 firms have this, and they have large volume of seats, so that all the attorneys can have access to it. And I'm sure they pay less than $700 per seat because of the number of seats that they buy.
No, that's nice.
So is the idea, the more you use it, the more you have cases kind of mapped out already?
Well, there's so many benefits. I mean, for each matter, you have, like I said, obviously you have everything for that matter in one place. You know, a case file, used to be 17 Redwell folders and like I said, various documents on various people's computers. Now it is a master file in one location. Everything, nothing gets lost. Everything is connected. Documents are linked to the right issues. Facts are linked to the right issues. Everything's in one place, and everything can be shared, efficiently by a team working together on a case. You can have your case map up on your screen at trial. Judge says, "Hey, what's your authority on that point?" All I do is go to my extract spreadsheet, and I go over to my linked issues and filter on retaliation. And in a click, I've got all my authorities on that point in front of me. That's a hell of a lot better than me sitting at counsel table going like this, which everyone's done, and it just allows you to quickly get access to information that you need. You're preparing for a deposition. I need to quickly see all the letters that so-and-so wrote. I can see all his letters. I can pare down 10,000 documents to 10 in a few clicks. So, it's really hard to imagine why anybody would practice without it.
Do you have a crate similar to function software?
Excuse me?
A crate similar to, like
Like a
another
template?
case? Yeah.
Yes, you can create a template, of course. So if there is a, typically a firm will deal with the same type of case
Yeah.
over and over again. They'll create a template for that type of case, and they can reopen that template over and over again, sure. Also, this is integrated with other tools that the students also get for free. One that I want to quickly show you, because it's pretty cool, is your facts. Now you have this fact chronology, because, like I said, it automatically goes into a chronology. And if I wanted to create a timeline, I can just go File, Send to TimeMap, which is the companion tool, and I can tell it to send all of my facts at once to the timeline. Or you can send one fact at a time. But if you wanted to send all your facts, you've got an instant timeline for a trial demonstrative. You can change the shape, size, and color of these things and do a million fun things with this tool. But the main point is, rather than create this timeline from scratch in TimeMap, you can actually just create it instantly. You can use TimeMap to create a dueling timeline where your plaintiff's version of the facts are in green on the top and the defendant's version in red on the bottom, so that the court can see the two conflicting versions of facts. I know I've had moot court mock trial students use that feature. So this is good stuff.
Is there a tickler system to remind you of due dates for things?
You know what? There is not, because the one thing CaseMap doesn't do, it's not for timekeeping and calendaring. Time Matters is another tool that we own that very often I'm seeing the clinics we give it to them for free, so they use Time Matters and CaseMap. They integrate, you can send information in between them, but Time Matters is the thing that would allow you to record time spent on a file, like 10 minutes talking to the client, and also calendar things and have reminders of upcoming due dates. Certainly you can put, prospective dates in your fact spreadsheet, like the hearing is coming up on this date, but it wouldn't have a reminder system. Yeah?
You basically answered my question right there. The time matter, I'm looking for this for our clinic.
Yeah.
For time matters, first off, does it also allow conflict checking? And then how do we get time matters? I've had trouble actually trying to physically get access to it.
What school are you with?
Arkansas.
You should all just hand me your cards on the way out, and I will contact all of you with my information. I'll try to find you a person for Time Matters to come out and do a demo. I mean, it is, I know that we're offering it free to the clinics. I will tell you this though, CaseMap is easy breezy to learn. I teach students this in 1 hour, and I swear to you at the end of the hour, 1Ls are putting their facts from their case in and getting up, getting a case file going already. So I know that the learning curve is super short with CaseMap because it's just simple and easy. Time Matters requires a little bit more training, it's a little more complicated tool, but apparently this is something clinics really need because they keep asking for it.
We need conflict checking.
Yeah, conflict checking. So I'll try to get you in touch with the Time Matters person. We can certainly get that to the clinic for free. But you're going to need to get trained, yeah.
Kind of an outside question, but this kind of makes me think about transactional law. I don't know if this doesn't necessarily apply in closing mortgage, closings and what, but is there a similar product?
No, but the thing about CaseMap is, as I showed you, and I get this question all the time, it's so customizable that you can change every field name.
You could adapt it to
You can
a
adapt it to anything.
conduct conversion if you want.
Anything. Anything. I can't even tell you the case maps that I've created. Here's one. You see all those organizations? Those are all the schools around the country, okay? And state, so I can sort them by state, their rank. Did they adopt it in the clinic? Did they adopt it in legal research and writing? I have as my issues, I have all the local reps for all the schools. So if I want to see all schools that a particular rep has, I can just see very easily by clicking on that rep.
So it has a lot of adaptations.
Right, I mean, every single field in every single spreadsheet can be changed. So if you wanted to use this to map out transactions, your facts could be transactions, and you can link them to whatever issues you want, or it just can be used to manage any kind of information. It's just set up for lawyers, but it's so adaptable, which is one of the things that I really like about it. And something else I wanted to show you about that. Oh, one of the things I didn't show you in CaseMap was, the issue outline that we looked at the beginning, the issue outline that you create. This is just one of the neatest things, I think. When you're looking at your issue outline, you can instantly see everything you've linked to an issue because these little number sign fields reflect that. So if I quickly wanted to see all facts I have on wrongful termination, I can see I have 8, and I just click there, pulls them up, and I can print that out. If I want to know how many authorities I have on wrongful termination, I can see the number of authorities is 2, and I can pull them up. How many extracts? 2, and I can just click on it and pull them up. So the issue outline ultimately becomes this bird's eye view of the whole case where you can see where the strengths and holes are. You can see the number of things you've got linked to each issue and quickly pull up all of those things. I can see how many documents do I have linked to wrongful termination. So that's just another quick and easy way to see things by issue. You can also print out a report by issue where it will sort. It'll show you issue number 1. Here's all the supporting facts, and here's all your supporting law. So it's almost like doing the lawyering for you. It's really a great benefit. And like I said, yeah, customizable. This is what you do with fields. Okay, if you want to add a new field to the spreadsheet, you can right-click on the name of the spreadsheet. You can rename it, just like so. You can hide it to totally take it out of the spreadsheet, or you can insert a new field. You've got a list of pre-existing fields. If you don't find what you want there, you hit New. And if I want to call this Jackie's Notes, I can just make it a description field. And there it is, Jackie's Notes, and then maybe I want to grab it and slide it over to the back. So you can make this whatever you want. And you can make different types of fields. Like I very often will create a checkbox or a drop-down menu where you can create the choices of what you're selecting. So if you wanted to make sure that you're identifying something that falls into a certain category, it's effective to use that drop-down menu because then you can sort on that, yeah.
Do you know if any judges are using this?
I don't know, that's one thing I don't know. I imagine there are
It's
some.
even tremendously useful for a complicated case.
Yeah, I would think that, maybe not the judge, but I've seen people who said to me, this
You'd use it as a grading tool. for
this
your
would be
students.
great as a for a judicial law clerk to use for the judge, absolutely. Yeah, I know, I can't tell you the name, but I did see the law clerk get it. I mean, it's just a matter of, I don't know how much we charge the government for it. They have to obviously buy that. I don't know if we charge judges less. But, courts don't pay for that many software tools.
It's in their spell check tool.
Yes, all that stuff is in there. You were asking another question?
I said professors could use it as a grading tool
Perhaps.
for research papers for students and then.
Perhaps, sure, to organize information like that. Like I said, that case map I just showed you,
Right.
I use it for my job, where my fact spreadsheet is every date of every presentation. My organizations is all the schools, issues are the reps, and I cross-link everything that way. So if I click on the school, I can see every date that I've been to that school and what I did there. I have links to the professors at that school. So, like I said, you can totally customize this to whatever you want. It's a great tool, and the professors love it for their own research. Because a professor or a law review student will do this. They will just get rid of every spreadsheet except for issues, authorities, and documents. See what I just did? That's a law review student or a professor's case map. They've got a list of the issues in their paper. This is the repository for all their authorities, and this is the repository for every quote that they need to rely on from those authorities.
Do you partner with any publishers or anything for scenarios for faculty to use?
No. No, not as of yet. But that could be an idea. You guys have Starbucks cards coming to you, so I'm going to pass them out. If you can just just give me your business card, and I'll give you a Starbucks card in exchange. Okay? Anybody have any other questions about this?
Thank you. This has been helpful.
Yeah, and just FYI, I forgot to mention this, I'm the trainer, so if your school is interested in having